You say shit and then you start moving.
I didn't start moving, and then you hit record right after I say shh for us.
It's too late. You already were making your little
So
noise.
we've already messed up the podcast. Oh, what the hell? We've already started. We're going to continue. Hey, everyone. Welcome to episode 166 of the All Dolphins podcast, the ever so polished and heavily edited podcast, as you can see. Today is Monday, December 19th, 2023. Day after the Dolphins improved their record to 10-4 with a 30-zip spanking of the New York Jets.
I got a question for you before you do your numbers thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins have talked about how they have not really played a complete game all season. Was that just a complete game?
I thought you're the one who said that about not playing.
No, a number of players have said that. Christian Wilkins, Tua, a lot of players, a lot of guys have said that. And they don't even count the Denver game because they felt like they could have played better. And they had a lot of errors, and I believe the special teams gave up a touchdown. Was that just a complete game?
Offense, check. Defense, check. Special teams, check. Yeah.
I don't know if we can really say offense because...
Oh, we're going to go there again?
I mean,
again, not crazy number. It's not crazy number. Look at the national narrative today, and everybody is ranting and raving about Tua's performance. So obviously the offense did something right.
He just did it without Tyreek. Come on. He spent his whole career before Tyreek got here making average receivers look better than they were. I'm waiting for a response on that.
Wow. No, I'm not even going there.
I just lobbed it right up into your wheelhouse.
I mean, holy moly. Look what a good boy.
Expecting you to swing for the fences.
Look at good boy. Look at good boy I am. I'm not even saying a thing.
The Isaiah Fords of the world. No, you're not going to bite the hook.
Where's Isaiah Ford? He elevated him so much he's out of the NFL. Sorry. that was funny. I'll give you props for the comedy though. The offense was not as explosive as it's been. It was held under 300 yards.
Yeah.
6 points in the second half. But in a game like yesterday, all they needed to do was don't hand the Jets freebies, and they did that. And they still, hit the deep pass, which yes was an absolutely gorgeous throw by Tua. Great double move by Waddle.
Points for you from Tuanon on that one.
Sorry,
I said points for you from Tuanon on that one. They're like, oh, he acknowledged it was a great pass. Okay.
How about that? I'm not afraid to throw out praise when it's deserved. Although if I'm going to go there. Like people making a big deal, like RG3, for example, like Tua completed 82% of his passes. There
were a lot of short passes.
Can we acknowledge that it was easy to rack up a high completion percentage? But having said that, he played very, very well, executed what they asked of him beautifully. So,
and as I continue to say, a lot of that game plan is predicated by your offensive line. I rewatched that game; it was leakage everywhere. It was leakage, just leakage everywhere.
You know where there was more leakage?
Where?
On the other offensive line.
Okay, I mean that wasn't a leak. That was like a flooding.
That was a dam bursting.
Yeah.
By the way, we're I know some people here are dying just to get to the 66 player recognition. We got to do that.
66.
We did 66 the first time around. Was Larry Little, who was head and shoulders above any other 66 in Dolphin history, Hall of Famer, fabulous pulling guard. Miami's own Dolphins got him for a song in a trade for a cornerback named Mac Lamb. Yeah, it's literally one of the biggest highway robbery trades in the history of the NFL. You traded a little used backup cornerback for a guard who became a Hall of Famer. Yeah, I said it. So this time we're going to go with somebody you actually should know, Donald Thomas, 6th-round pick in 2008, a guard from UConn who actually won a starting job on a veteran offensive line as a
rookie.
And then had a nasty foot injury, may have been a Liz Frank, as I recall, in the opener. Came back the following year, never quite the same guy, wound up playing for New England and the Colts, had a 5-year NFL career. So hat tip to Donald Thomas.
I do remember Donald Thomas, very respectable young man. I believe Nate Garner replaced him when he went down as the starter. Nate Garner had a respectable career here as well before I think concussions got the best of him. And then I believe he won a concussion lawsuit against the Dolphins or the NFL. Can't remember which one. But anyway.
I believe he may have. But we're going down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah, somebody hit him in the head with a helmet. I can't remember who it was. And that really rocked him. Like somebody swung a helmet, hit him in the head, and he had a big concussion issue and a concussion lawsuit against the Dolphins.
That could be painful.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting hit in the head area badly, our buddy Andrew Van Ginkel got nailed in the nose while pass rushing. Hand got through his face mask, broken nose, which Mike McDaniel and Van Ginkel confirmed on Monday. McDaniel said he didn't know anything about it until after the fact, because Van Ginkel basically went to the sideline and never told anybody, or just took care of it on his own, and wound up playing. I believe it was like 51 of the 58 defensive snaps. So I guess points for toughness right there. No
He
points.
played 51 of 58.
He did.
I saw a lot of Manuel Ogben, a lot of Cameron Good.
You saw a lot of Cameron Good. You didn't see a lot of Emmanuel Ogba because you obviously got to check the snap count observations from Monday. Ogba played. Yeah, busted. Ogba played 4 snaps on defense. Wound up leaving the game with a hamstring injury, and that was one of the many injuries Mike McDaniel discussed in his soft tissue. Yep. In his weekly day after the game press conference.
He also provided a hint that I've never heard before, and I appreciate a coach dropping a hint. He's like, if a guy is working out the day of a game, then it is close. They're really close to playing and game time decision. Obviously, Tyreek Hill worked out, didn't get clearance. Xavier Howard worked out, surprisingly didn't get clearance because he was expecting to play. But I think Mike McDaniel made the right decision because, as history has shown, Xavier has a tendency to go out there and play not 100% and then generally make the problem worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's semi-logical that if you got no shot of playing, they're not going to test you out. And this is where we're getting let's address Tyreek for a second. McDaniel said after the game yesterday he was pretty close. Then pregame show on NBC, Sunday Night in America, whatever it's called, Sunday Night Football, Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, flat out just throws out there that he was not close.
Okay.
And Drew Rosenhaus does his hit on
WSVN 7 Sports Extra.
WSVN, correct, with our good friend Josh, and talking about how he didn't say close or not close, but he did say the decision to sit out may allow, these are exact words, may allow Tyreek to play later in the year. And I'm like, wow, that's an interesting choice of words. And I understand you and I, we do these every day, and we make God knows how many mistakes we each make on a daily basis. I'll save everybody the trouble. Mistakes all over the place. So I get it that sometimes you misspeak. That still struck me as, and this is part, maybe, I think that's what led to perhaps to, or the Florio comment more so, to McDaniel volunteering that nugget about if you work out a guy before a game, that means he's pretty close.
So, that's why he volunteered that information. Oh, I see you dropping hints over here. Okay. I've always found it very interesting how aware Mike McDaniel is about what's being said about his team and the narratives and the storylines. So, I mean, we've got Hard Knocks tomorrow. So Hard Knocks will give us the behind the scenes, hopefully. No?
Yeah, I have a hard time believing
Come on. We got to get a Chris Greer cameo on that one.
I kind of get the feeling they want to, I mean, keep the kibosh on that one. Keep it under it. They want to maintain the mystery. I mean, I don't know.
Basically tell Dallas he's playing this week so that they could prepare for him, because obviously the game plays a lot different with Tyreek than without Tyreek. So, Mike McDaniel should have just said, yeah, he's playing. But then I guess you don't want to really do that to fantasy players because, they're in their playoffs and, they get all a little weird about their fantasy teams.
Correct. And I wrote a Tyreek update this morning, and I encourage you to read it at alldolphins.com
All right.
and kind of semi the gist. And I came to the conclusion that would you be shocked if it came down again to Sunday morning before we have a clear answer on this?
So are you thinking Tyreek doesn't practice all week and then gives it a go on Sunday morning?
Maybe limited on Friday.
Okay.
Um,
We got a whole week to prepare and watch and work. So
yeah,
that's the beauty of it. They've shown you not to say I know everybody's all obsessed about Tyreek, and Tyreek is a very good player. But as you know from yesterday's hit and from yesterday's discussion, and then even my film review of the game, even further, I'm way more obsessed with the offensive line and what's
you
going
are,
on in that
you
unit.
are, you are.
That
But here's my thing, and this is where I'm very big on nuance with stats and all that and numbers. Like the 30 burger that they put on the Jets, to me, you have to always look at it that it included practically a defensive touchdown when you recover a fumble at the one and a 22-yard drive for a field goal. They didn't have to do any heavy lifting on offense because they might have played 7 quarters yesterday. The Jets weren't scoring. Obviously, against Dallas, even though they're not a very good road team, against Dallas, it's not going to be like that. So it maybe they're going to have to do more offensively. And this is where obviously the offensive line, it would help if some of those guys came back. And again, a whole lot of uncertainty with that as well.
Yeah.
And
Let's
obviously
go
with
over some of these injuries because Mike McDaniel basically said Austin Jackson's injury is not in the Jalen Phillips end, where Jalen missed basically 3 or 4 games, resting that oblique back issue that really spasmed up on him for a good portion of the season. But he's gonna be a day-to-day situation. So more than likely, they're going to be getting Kendall Lamb prepared and ready to start at right tackle, and Austin Jackson might be limited to 1 practice, maybe 2 this week. Then we get to Robert Hunt, where it didn't sound like he's close. It sounded as if, based on what Mike McDaniel was saying, that Robert Hunt is getting closer to returning, but he's not close to returning. Obviously, we know where Liam Eichenberg is. He's soldiering through that calf injury. Will he participate in all of this week's practices? Probably doubtful. Probably might be limited. Probably might miss the Wednesday and get himself ready starting on Thursday. And then I believe, I'm not 1,000% sure, but I believe that Lester Cotton got a little something. Just had a little nicky.
the little
Um,
one.
yeah. It's you know what it is. It's that time of season, man.
You hate getting Nickies. Those are bad.
Nickies are bad.
Um,
Absolutely.
did you notice anything with Tehran? Because Tehran did not play the final 8 snaps.
Yeah.
It was just game's over. Let me get out.
Yes. In fact, I watched him on the sidelines. He was fine. He was, in fact, coaching up Liam and working with other guys, but he looked fine. They didn't need him. Come on, you need to rest Tehran. And in fact, the performance from Tehran was better than it had been in the previous 2 games that he played. That is a step in the right direction, especially when you look at the Jets and the caliber of opponent that they are. Tehran, you need a healthy Tehran for this final stretch of games. And it looks like he's getting there. Not there, but getting there. So that's a great step in the right direction. It's going to allow you to do all kinds of things on your offensive line. Now, the question is, when will you get Robert Hunt back? When will you have Liam healthy? When will you have Austin healthy? Every team is on fumes at this point. Every team is starting the Jets, I believe, had their 11th offensive line combination out there.
It showed. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was bad. This line, they're holding the fort down, and I think they're still going to have to create a game plan to get the ball out of Tua's hands quickly. Now, the question is, how will Dallas play that, and how will Miami counter that? Because it's already on film now, so you
No,
know what
correct.
you have to do.
Yeah.
And so the opponent also knows how you have to play because of what your issues are in the offensive line. So this is going to be a great gamesmanship game between Dan Quinn and Mike McDaniel, who I think they might have history together.
Well, maybe from Seattle, San Francisco. Maybe no. What am I talking about? That's Quinn was in I'm trying to remember where
No,
Quinn.
I don't think they. I
Quinn
don't think
went
they have
direct
history
Atlanta
together.
down. Oh no, Atlanta, 2016.
That's what I thought it was. But is it? Yeah, he wasn't he on Dan Quinn's staff?
No, they were on both Kyle Shanahan's staff, unless I'm mistaken.
No, because
You're gonna look up Dan
Quinn was
Quinn.
the head coach.
Who?
Quinn was the head coach. Who? Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. Quinn was the head coach.
In 2016 when they gagged the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Yes, and
Okay, well,
Mike McDaniel was on Dan Quinn's staff.
yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Looky! I schooled Poupard. Are you? Look at that! I'm taking a victory lap. I'm just gonna walk out of here.
Hold on, where's my mint? Oh, my mint's over there. Can't give you a mint.
That's like a walk off for me.
Didn't I say McDaniel in Atlanta? But okay, whatever. You take the double.
Yeah, but you were like they were on the same staff together. No, he worked for Dan Quinn. What are you talking
But
about?
they were on the same staff if they worked together. If they was
Come
under
on,
him.
it's a
Okay, you get the L. There you go. Hat tip for you, Omar.
Appreciate it.
And now I lost my train of. Cowboys have an important injury on the offensive line that we need to monitor throughout the week, and that's Zach
Wilson. Yeah,
Zach Martin.
Zach Martin. Damn, why did I say Wilson?
Quad injury, left the game in the first quarter. Apparently, he was telling reporters after the game that he thinks he's going to be okay, that it wasn't, he thought it was his knee at first. Hoping to play, and Mike McCarthy seemed to suggest after the game also that it wasn't anything that serious. Nothing like what happened to the Baltimore Ravens running back Keaton Mitchell last night. Oh, if you saw the replay of it, torn ACL, and there goes our speed element. And I bring that up to just to reinforce the fact that every team deals with injuries. Number two, because obviously the Dolphins play at Baltimore in Week 17, and in the one nugget that Dolphin fans need to know: the Dolphins cannot get the number 1 seed if they do not win at Baltimore, regardless of what happens in the other 2 weeks with the Ravens or with the Dolphins.
When did you write this?
I wrote this month.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was doing Joe Rogan show this morning.
Okay.
I got to send that story out because the masses don't know.
It's what happens when you're working with a radio star. Print guy and radio star.
Listen, that's important. That's important nugget of information.
That's why it's included in the story. Yes. I broke down all the playoff scenarios and permutations and all that.
As
and
you always do.
And then the other thing is, as you predicted long before I did, so props to you on this one, kind of semi-looking like that Week 18 game at Hard Rock Stadium is going to be for the AFC East title. Unless, this is under the assumption the Bills handle business against the Chargers and the Patriots. And if they do that, the Dolphins have to win against both Dallas and Baltimore to make the Week 18 game irrelevant in terms of the division title.
Well, let's hope Bill Belichick plays spoiler. He's still campaigning. He should be campaigning for that Chargers or that Panthers job right now.
Yeah, I feel a lot more confident about the Dolphins being able to beat Dallas and Baltimore than Buffalo losing to either the Chargers or the Patriots.
That's a very excellent point that you're making there. And as I said, no matter what, you're gonna have to go stay with your daddy. He's gonna come visit, and you just gotta those demons. You gotta exercise them on your own, man. You can't wait. You can't wait or hope for somebody else to do it. And in fact, let me make another bold prediction and say that you're probably going to play Dallas. You're probably going to play the Cowboys in the first round.
The Bills.
The Bills. Yeah, damn.
If the Bills wind up winning, it's way too early for that. There's too many permutations. I didn't even go there because there are a lot of those. Dolphins need 1 win to clinch a playoff spot. They still couldn't make the playoffs, even, God forbid, like worst case scenario, they lose all 3, but then they would need a couple of teams to lose somewhere else in the AFC. But that's the main takeaway again is, if Buffalo wins their next 2, Dolphins have to beat both Dallas and Baltimore. Otherwise, Week 18 is for division title, number 1. And number 2, Dolphins cannot win the number 1 seed unless they win at Baltimore. And even then, KC could get involved too. Like the Dolphins could win at Baltimore and finish 12-5, and then the damn KC Chiefs could get involved because they have the tiebreakers over everybody, and they're at 9-5 with 3 games left. That are, they play Vegas at home, they play Cincinnati at home. That could be tricky, but still, and then they play at the Chargers. So
listen, as Mike McDaniel warned all his players today, if a media member comes to you and talks about permutations and playoffs and seeding, you tell them F off. Okay? It's about this week and this opponent.
But you forgot the prelude to that. With all due respect.
Okay, with all due respect. I forgot the with all due respect. F off, okay?
No, and that came up also about the narrative of the Dolphins having not beaten the team with a winning record. And it's not a narrative, it's a fact. You're rolling your eyes. It's a fact. That again, I'm not saying anything. Denver 7-7. I'm not saying
Denver
anything.
Had a winning record at one point.
Oh my Lord. Is that where we're going with that?
I mean, listen, you play your schedule, man.
Okay, but let me finish my point. Yeah. When I say the Dolphins have not beaten a team with a winning record, automatically you can't go, well, they haven't been, they play the schedule they have, or it's stupid. I'm not saying there's nothing else attached to the statement other than the fact that the Dolphins have not beaten a team that currently has a winning record. You can't argue that because that's a fact.
They haven't hosted a winning team at home. That's
okay.
what I got.
Okay. Is that a
Cowboys
fact?
are the first.
Correct. There you go. The Cowboys are the first. And by the way, the narrative applies to the Cowboys too, although the Cowboys did beat Philly, but it was in Dallas. The Cowboys, they're 3-4 on the road, but 3 of those losses are against the Bills, the 49ers, and the Eagles.
Question for you. You know what the line is on this game so far?
It opened at Pick'em, and I've seen other places from other books where the Dolphins now are 1.5 favorites.
Interesting. I wouldn't be able to tell you how to pick it. And in fact, Mike McDaniel gave the greatest warning that I would think you can give. The Cowboys are coming off an embarrassing loss, much like we lost last week. And so they're going to be locked in, dialed in. They know what the narrative is about them, and they're interested in silencing it as well. Well, Miami is the next team on the platter. So it'll be a very interesting game. I expect it to be the game of the week in the NFL. So hopefully it doesn't disappoint. No? 49ers, Baltimore?
Kind of, sort of, no?
I
mean, we don't know how the games are going to play out, but in terms of matchup heading into the week, you have the 2 teams with the best records. I mean,
yeah, okay, I won't be biased.
But we will say this is a hat tip to our good friend Barry. Fox has a national game on Christmas Day, and the Dallas at Miami game at 4:25 p.m. on Sunday is a national doubleheader game. And the Fox chose to send their number 1 team of Greg Olson with Kevin Burkhardt. I apologize if that's not who the lead play-by-play guy is, to Hard Rock Stadium and not to the Christmas Day game between the Giants and the Eagles. So there's that.
How about Greg Olson wanted to be home for Christmas with his kids?
I
actually know Greg personally, and I'm pretty sure that's high on his agenda.
Well, you can find out. Does Greg have enough juice at this point to be able to dictate that?
He's your number 1 guy.
Yeah, but you by all means check with him. Next topic: Chris Brooks. The deadline to activate him or basically commit to keeping him on IR for the rest of the season is coming up. This 3-week window. I think it's tomorrow or Wednesday. McDaniel was asked about him and got some very nice Irish dancing with nice praise about how he's come along. He's earned the trust of his
teammates.
He's in a good place.
He exceeded all the rookie wall stuff. He's a great player. Best thing since sliced bread. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to have him back on the roster, but
yeah.
not the words that we wanted to hear. He will definitely be activated.
The question is, Where do you have extra space? And I know you're gonna say the same. One guy played last week, and one guy actually started. I mean, actually was in a starting role, and still they're gonna get their head whacked off by Poupard, they usually do whenever Poupard needs a roster spot.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, Robbie Chosen played 23 snaps in place of Tyreek.
That's a lot of snaps.
Don't believe he was targeted once. Doesn't play special teams. That would be one ding against him. Eli Apple, who hadn't played in 5 games, was the boundary corner in nickel situations, had a great third down pass breakup. And with Xavier's hip being balky and now Cam Smith having a hamstring injury and also not having the trust of Vic Fangio, maybe you keep him there for depth purposes in case of emergency.
Calvin Munson.
You're going to deplete your inside linebacker depth like that?
I think it's the only place that I'm vulnerable. I mean, that I might have a little bit of depth. He's not been here that long. He's really here for special teams. I'm not absolutely committed to him. I think you can demote him and put him on your practice squad and give yourself some space, give yourself some time. Unless somebody claims.
Hold on. Unless I'm severely mistaken, because he was signed off New England's practice squad, he's got to stay on the active roster for 3 weeks.
No, I don't think that rule pertains anymore. That's when you claim a guy. You could just sign a guy. I don't think that rule.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little monologue or a stand-up routine. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, stand-up routine. Mike McDaniel did address the safety position. He talked about Deshaun Elliott, who has not passed in concussion protocol, but he is in one of the exiting stages of concussion protocol. As you know, a player has to practice without side effects of his concussion worsening, two practices, and then he should be cleared. More than likely, Mike McDaniel expects that to be done this week. And Javon Holland is working his way back into practice. Really will be able to tell you more based on his practice participation, whether or not he's going to be in the fold, in the action. He hasn't really participated in much of practice for the last 3 weeks. Based on what Javon Holland says his injury is, and we have no confirmation on that yet because Javon Holland's the only one talking about his injury, which is an MCL sprain to both knees. He's more than likely going to be sidelined for 4 weeks, and the final week would be this week. Correct, Poupard? You're reading, so
I'm reading. I'm not finding it. So I'm sorry. What was the question?
The final week for Javon Holland, if he had a 4-week rehab, would be this week because it's 4 weeks.
He has missed. It happened against the Jets, so it was Washington, Tennessee, Jets again. This will be his fourth week.
But Mike McDaniel praised Brandon Jones, who pulled down 2 interceptions, and Elijah Campbell, who had some pretty nice plays, and said that basically they're more than capable of getting the job done. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the safety position moving forward. But just like every other position this season, the Dolphins have stood the test of time from a depth standpoint, and that includes offensive line, from running back to wide receiver to tight end to offensive line to defensive line to linebacker to cornerbacks and safeties. They have endured a lot of injuries, and it hasn't impacted the product at all, or not that much, but offensive line's impacted the product recently.
No, and on defense, they've withstood the injuries ever since what was it, week 8? I mean, they've been completely lights out on defense. They're now number 5 in the NFL. In fact, Dolphins are one of only 2 teams in the NFL in the top 5 in both offense and defense, along with
Dallas is Kansas City.
Nope.
Damn, you got me, because I know Dallas is 6th on defense.
Okay, so there you go. They're not on top. Baltimore Ravens.
Damn it.
And all they had was the blip against the Titans in the final 4 minutes, basically. Outside of that, they have been lights out on defense, and there are guys playing some kind of ball all over the place. I mean, Wilkins, Sealer,
Dallas is right up there too.
in defense.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Uh, I've been doing statistical studies all day. Um, I'm getting my poop hard on. It's Dallas defensively is. Don't give me the silence here.
Come on. No, I shouldn't give you the silence. In fact, I should like my
Do,
own stand-up routine.
what is
Horse
it?
walks into a bar, the bartender says, "Why the
Dallas
long
is
face?" See,
six.
and you interrupted my little stand-up routine.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Horse walks into a bar, bartender says, "Why the long face?" Sorry, go ahead.
Dallas is number 6. That's such a bad joke.
Okay.
Dallas is number 2 offensively and number 6.
And Frisco is number.
Yeah.
No, Frisco is 3 and 9. So I messed that up on my tweet. Frisco is 3 and 9. So generally speaking, you're good on both sides of the ball like that. You're going to have a good record. And is where we go.
Dolphins are number 1 and number 5. They are finally back to their perch as the number 1 team in both categories, yardage and scoring. They've been on a journey, and number 5 on defense, which has been their goal all season. They are finally there. This is the first week that they've ever been there. They've been 6th once, but they dropped to 9th based on that Tennessee collapse last week, and now they're back to 5. So it'll be interesting. I'm writing a column about can they stay at number 5, and truthfully speaking, every element of that defense is playing on a tremendously high level, from the defensive line to the cornerbacks, even to the backup safeties. Linebackers. Linebackers have been really phenomenal, from the outside guys to the inside guys. So I don't see any drop off. Vic Fangio was playing press coverage on third downs. Vic is growing. Vic is changing things up.
Had Ramsey on Garrett Wilson for a good part of the game.
Mm-hmm. See, here we are. We're saying he's stubborn old man. Look at that. Guy's evolving, maturing.
Are you crushed that the Dolphins have dropped to 4th in the NFL in rushing?
I did not know that.
Sorry, Omar. It's okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I know it's a big blow. Sorry.
Damn.
Damn,
4th.
Yeah, Baltimore is increasing its lead at number 1. Had another big outing yesterday. And then Buffalo had a huge game running the ball yesterday. Holy most rushing yards in the Sean McDermott era. And then Josh, did you see Josh Allen's quote after the game? Well, that was a good one. He goes I feel like the kid who didn't do anything in the class project and got an A.
That's great. That is great. I'm after that hit job that they wrote on Sean McDermott for that team, and that was a hit job. That was they pulled up on the car and shot it up 30 times. That was like that was a hit job. Yeah, and to see his team rally behind him and not quit on him and completely play like they've been playing, lights out, man. That's a team that's rallying behind their head coach, because he's got to be for him to survive that was an assassination attempt.
Not a good look. And some of the stories that came out, the 13-second story about him not taking accountability, that had come out before, and that's a bad look.
Yeah.
But we're not worried about the Buffalo Bills. We're worried about the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Mike McDaniel will tell us F off, because we're not focused on what we need to be focused on, which is the Dallas Cowboys. We will have one of my mentors in the business, Clarence Hill, from the Dallas Fort Worth Star Telegraph, joining us on Behind Enemy Lines tomorrow. You know how we do it, giving you a glimpse, and you will love Clarence's personality. One of my favorite guys in the league, and a guy who I always try to be like Clarence when a young whippersnapper comes in the league and asks me for help. Clarence was the guy that really helped me out in this business when I first started. So Loved having him on the show tomorrow. And you know how we do it all week on alldolphins.com. We will give you all the coverage that you need. Poupard's got 7 to 8 stories up today. I am actually going to write a story and a column. The column is actually on, can the Dolphins defense remain top 5 for the rest of the season, especially playing against these Super Bowl caliber teams. You can find all that coverage on alldolphins.com for free, no subscription, no paywall. You click it, you read it. And you can find everything with the hashtag AllDolphins. Just go to Twitter, any place you go, social media, put hashtag AllDolphins. You'll find the content there. We will be back tomorrow for Behind Enemy Lines, and we will be here all week giving you the latest on your Miami Dolphins, which are back on the winning side of the ledger. We will see you tomorrow.
What Omar said.